So now we're all to generation four, and it's all these things that we've talked about to this point. But what we're kind of adding to this is, a little bit more of the detect. But first off, at the endpoint, we're adding an advanced an advanced endpoint protection. And what the advanced endpoint protection is, it treats files differently that come into your network and onto your computer. The old way is with your current web-based antivirus. It's going to check to see if this file is blacklisted, and then it's going to run it through a little bit of machine learning to see if it's been updated for this signature. And if it's not blacklisted, it allows to execute on your network. What the new advanced endpoint protection does, it allows all known files. It blocks all bad files. But if it's an unknown file, it's still going to allow it, but it's going to allow it in a container. And so it's actually in a container on your computer that is virtualized, that does not give you access to any other resources on your computer or your network, so you can run that file safely on your endpoint. And what'll happen is, through the machine learning, and it'll realize if it's, a trusted file, and if it is, it'll mark it good, and it'll always be good. If it is not, it'll mark it bad, and it will not be bad. If the machine learning cannot figure out if it's good or bad, it actually goes to a SOC, and trained engineers actually take a look at these files, they sandbox it, and then they decide whether it's good or bad. But where this is a benefit, there's two ways this is a benefit. One is that, if something does get encrypted, it's just going to be in that container, and we can just kill it, and we can delete it, and it'll never affect anything else. But if it is a good file and it's being blocked, we don't really want to block it, because if it's a good file and you have to work on it, you got to do a presentation, it's time sensitive, that allows that activity to continue to happen. And again, we still do the patches and the updates. Then another feature that we're adding in is something called the Secure Internet Gateway. And what this is an agent-based piece that's on your actual workstation. That's an additional layer, similar to the way a firewall deals with traffic on the internet. It's more granular. It's from a content filtering standpoint, you can be more granular with what it can do. Now, while your computer is behind your physical firewall at your office, you're always going to be protected, from these things. But where this actually is an additional benefit is if you actually have somebody that takes their laptops and they take them home, and they're no longer behind the physical firewall, they now have something still there that's protecting them. The security internet gateway is configured. We can create policies that apply to a whole company, to individuals, to groups, and it's just an additional layer, and it's something that we feel is necessary, especially in the mobile environment. And again, there's one with Microsoft 365. This is really more of a configuration item. It's not an additional purchased item. It's called conditional access. And what this is this was really where we're saying who can log into your web-based application, Microsoft 365, from where. Not who, but from where. So let's say, you work from home primarily, and you have a static IP address. We can say, okay, this person can only access this applications through these IP addresses. And so this is really kind of working towards what they call a zero trust in regards to access. And it's just, in our opinion, it's a big thing, especially if you got remote offices, you got remote employees. It's just good because the web-based uh, email access is really a big way the hackers do log in, and they really create a lot of havoc for us by doing so. And the last but not least, I mean, this is really the detect, and this is what we call MDR. It's monitoring and detecting and remedying issues, and this is where we actually have someone watching your network for suspicious activities. Because more than likely, it's like Taher mentioned before in the very beginning, when we see all these all the different hacks that have happened, and what happens is these people, their goal is to get into your network, steal your data, encrypt your data, and then require a ransom. Well, typically they're on your network by on average for 9 days before they actually encrypt your data and then ask for the ransom. So what this does is this looks for any suspicious activity that's within your network, and it acts on it. And it'll act on it by shutting your system down. It'll block any access they're trying to do. And this really, to us, is a big new feature that is a necessity for us to get across our networks, because this is going to stop them from one, stealing the data, and number two, ever getting the opportunity to encrypt your data.